Okay, so let's take a comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and away from the ears. Keeping the chest lifted, we'll drop the nose a bit toward the floor and eyes are closed or soft. Starting to drop out of the thinking mind, starting to really sense into the body. Getting a sense for how am I this evening? Noticing what comes immediately to mind, and then also those things that might need a little bit of exploring, a little bit deeper in the body. Getting a sense for what do you need out of your practice today? What would that feel like? Where would it be in the body? Drawing the awareness to the breath. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale. At the top of your inhale, we're going to hold the breath in, retaining the breath, feeling the pressure in the lungs. And notice if you can take a little bit more of an inhale, a couple of sips more. When it's time to exhale, exhale slowly, smoothly, and easily. At the end of the exhale, we're going to draw the abdominals in just a bit, squeezing out that last bit of exhale, and then allow the inhale to fill the lungs. And once again, starting to move toward a full lung capacity. And at the top of the inhale, we'll hold the breath in. So making sure that all the lungs, the full capacity of the lungs are being used. The top of the lungs, the side of the lungs, the bottom part of the lungs. And once again, when it's time to exhale, exhaling smoothly, steadily, and completely, drawing in the abdominals to squeeze the last bit out. Taking your time, moving with your body. We're going to do one more breath like that. So after the last bit of the exhale is out, allow the inhale to fill the body. And at the top of the inhale, we'll hold the breath in for as long as you want here, just feeling the pressure in the lungs. It's time to exhale. Exhaling slowly, smoothly, and completely. So just come back to a natural breath after that. And on your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into the space. All right, let's drop the nose down toward the floor and let's circle with the tip of the nose. Nice big circles. Just kind of feeling out the neck, what may be going on here. And we'll pause in that direction and then rotate the other way. And the next time that you're in that starting position with the nose toward the floor, pause there. And then we can lift the head. All right, let's take the left hand down, coming into a side bend, right hand up and over. Starting to maybe bend that elbow, dropping down a little more on the left side. From here, we're going to draw the right shoulder back and turn to look toward the ceiling. So we're going to rotate the chest. So start to look up, you're drawing that right arm back behind your head. It's really opening the chest. On inhale, we're going to come on and back up through center. And exhale on over to the other side. Left hand down, right hand up and over, just a side bend. Starting to drop down on the left side, or right side. Dropping down the right side. And then on inhale, we're going to start to open the chest. So turning the chest toward the ceiling, dropping that left shoulder back and hands all the way up and over the head. On inhale, we'll come on back up to center. All right, long body Konasana, soles of the feet together and forward. Using your blocks or pillows for support. You're going to come on down with your head resting onto your support in a comfortable position where you can relax, where you can soften the whole body. Trying to stay present with what's going on in the body. Maybe using that intention, that state of balance that you were observing at the beginning of practice. Maybe using that as your focal point. Constantly coming back to what brings me into balance in this moment. Noticing if those elements are things you need to release or things you need to draw in, or maybe a little of both. And then on your next inhale, we'll come on up. You can set your blocks aside and not straighten out the legs. I'm going to take the right leg and let's do this. Let's stack your knees and stack your right knee on top of your left, drawing your right foot back towards your hip. So this is the half version. You could stay here, or you can bring your other leg in for Gurukasana in the legs. Try to have both sit bones down. All right, from here, just come into the twist. Lift up to the top of the head, turn toward the right, dropping that left arm to the outside of the leg or the thigh. Right hand on the floor for support. So lengthen the spine as you turn, perhaps looking over your right shoulder toward what's behind you. On inhale, we'll come on back to center. Come into the forward bend. So both legs are back by your hips. You can start to drop your nose down over your knee. If your other leg is underneath, you might reach down for that foot. And so either way here, you can still drop your nose down towards your top knee. So starting to bring your belly onto your thigh, onto your right thigh, and the nose somewhat toward the knee. Go on, inhale, come on up from there. We're going to switch sides. You can start by extending both legs. And then your left leg, the knee is going to stack on top of your right knee with that foot coming back toward your hips. This is the half version. Full version, you're going to be pulling both feet in, still working to stack your knees, keeping the sit bones down. Coming into the twist, we'll drop the right arm now to the outside of your knee or thigh, left hand on the floor, starting to open the chest, lifting up to the top of the head. You're on inhale, come on back to center. And coming into the forward bend, we'll start to drop the chest over the thigh. You might bring your nose down to your knee. And if your leg is extended, you could reach your arms forward, maybe grabbing a hold of that foot. On inhale, I want to come on up from there. Release the legs. We're going to work our way into supported child's pose. So we'll use our bolster and we'll bring the knees wide, feet together, and our bolster between the knees or the thighs. So you can have any height that you like here. Belly and head rest down on your bolster. Arms to either side and the head to one side. And again, finding a place where you can soften, but still trying to stay awake mentally, staying focused on what you're doing. So noticing when the mind begins to wander, and trying to bring back the focus to your focal point. And then we'll pick up just the head and turn to look the other way. And on your next inhale, we'll come one up. You can set your bolster aside. We're going to work our way into a downward facing dog. So spreading those fingers, tucking your toes when you're ready, coming on up, downward facing dog. Just feeling the hands and the feet, checking in with the breath. And then we'll come forward in either plank pose or half plank pose with the knees down. Either way, shoulders over the hands, abdominals supporting. Elbows in close, let's lower down to the floor, all the way down. And inhale, come on up to cobra pose. Exhale, lower back down to the floor, abdominals in half plank or full plank pose. And we'll tuck the toes back to a downward facing dog. Then let's step the right foot forward for warrior one. Virabhadrasana one, big step forward. Trying to find the ease in the posture, but also the integrity of the posture. It's a warrior pose. Seeing where you can soften. And a downward facing dog, big step back. And we'll take the left foot forward for a warrior one on this side, big step forward. And then a downward facing dog, big step back. And we'll walk the feet and the hands together for Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Keeping the abdominals pulled in, we'll come on up to standing Tadasana, mountain pose. There it is. Take the arms up and over the head, palms together, crescent pose to the right, dropping down. Inhale, crescent pose to the left other side. Trying to come down exactly in the side here without twisting or turning the hips or shoulders. Now inhale, come on back up to center and release the arms. Let's do a little bit of balancing work, tree pose, standing on the right foot. Just noticing when you're doing your tree pose, just how quiet the mind has to be to be able to balance on your right foot. Left foot, any version of tree, so left foot come onto the leg or on the floor. Having that knee out to the side, hands anywhere you like. Trying to keep the breath flowing, letting the world move around you. And we're going to come on out with control on that side. Trying to find your left foot, grounding and rooting that side, right side. When you're ready, right foot comes on up, tree pose. Again, any version, finding that quiet place. Keeping the breath flowing. And then we'll come on out with control. All right, we're gonna come on back onto our mat, coming down for a reclined Baddha Konasana, reclined supported Baddha Konasana. So we'll have our bolster right up against us. The hips are on the floor. Soles of the feet are together. And if you want to use blocks underneath of your knees, you could do that if it's just a little too strong in the hips. And you might want a blanket if you want some extra like pillow for your head. You could do that too. You want to find a place that's super comfortable, but gives you a little bit of a stretch. So you want to try to adjust to find that right balance. If it's too comfortable, you might fall asleep. But if it's too strenuous, then it's going to hurt after a while. So finding that perfect place. And on your next inhale, we're going to work our way up from there, being kind to us. I'm going to transition into a supported forward bend. So for this one, your bolster and blanket, if you're using one, is going to go on the legs. So if you're one who needs a blanket underneath your hips to sit normally in staff pose, you'll want to do that. If you're okay without it, you could just keep the hips flat on the floor and bring your bolster onto your legs. You want to find a place that allows you to comfortably rest the head down. If your hamstrings are super tight, you might want to roll underneath of your knees. So you might want to have a little support there. You may need extra height as well under your head. So if you want to use a block or another blanket, you can do that too. So this is supported forward bend. And you can allow your back to round for this one. Again, letting gravity take over. Forward bends are soothing and cooling poses. So using the breath here to help cool the body and cool the mind. And on the inhale, come on up from there. You can set aside your blankets and bolsters. Just grab a hold of a strap if you have one available. We're going to come down onto your back. So starting with knees bent, feet on the floor. I'm going to push into your feet, lift the hips, move them to the left, and set them down. So you're on the outer right hip. So a little bit off the side. Pick up both knees and draw them in close to the chest, drawing your feet up. Here we're going to slip your strap around both feet. So we have knees are bent, strap is around the feet. You're on your outer right hip. We're going to draw both knees over to the right side, all the way to the floor if you can. Both knees to the right, the feet can come down. And then straighten out the legs and walk your hand, your right hand, down your strap towards your feet. And if you're able to grab a hold of your foot, you could do that. Otherwise, just hold on to the strap. I'm going to try to stack your left foot on top of your right. So really seeing if you can reach to that heel. And your feet are maybe at like shoulder level. So they might be up high towards you. Yeah, so if you can pull on the strap to bring them up. Now your outer left hip, the one that's up toward the ceiling, I'm going to try to draw that away from your left shoulder. And drop your left shoulder down toward the floor and open the chest toward the ceiling. So getting some space between your left shoulder and left hip. So really opening that whole side of the body. And to come out of this is opposite the way you got in. So bend your knees, roll on back to center, and make sure that the spine is centered. So you can bring your hips back to center too. And then to switch to the other side, you push into the feet, lift the hips, move them to the right, and set them down onto your outer left hip. And then we'll draw the knees into the chest, picking your feet up off the floor, strap around both feet, all the way over to the left. Try to bring the knees to the floor. And then straighten out the legs and stack that right foot on top of the left. So really reaching and trying to extend on that side. The left hand can walk down the strap, maybe grabbing a hold of the foot. And that right shoulder moves in the opposite direction, down toward the floor. Try to separate right shoulder and right hip. So drawing the right hip away from the chest. And come out, we'll bend those knees, roll on back to center. We're going to work our way into Shavasana now, final pose. And we are running a little bit late, so if you need to jump up, if you're need to be right at the hour, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we'll just take the time here in Shavasana. Making the body super comfortable, trying to relax the thinking mind and sensing through the body. Draw your awareness back to how the breath and the body are feeling right now. Notice if there's any change in your being since the beginning of practice. And allow some movement to return to the body. And as you're ready, make your way to a seated position. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Drink lots of water, sleep well, and I will see you in class again. Namaste.